Olympus introduced something really interesting today, and it's officially public right now. Stick around to hear what interesting things Olympus released today and hear my thoughts about the new releases. Hi there, I'm Peter Forsgård, an Olympus visionary from Helsinki, Finland. And before we start talking about the new releases, please consider to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell so you get notified when there is a new video online. My channel is all about you getting to be a better photographer. And remember, I post 2 videos a week, usually on Tuesdays and on Fridays. The E-M1 MKII got a new firmware, Firmware 3.0, and the Teleconverter MC20 is finally here. Now you can make a pre-order of it. And then Olympus Workspace got a very interesting upgrade which has something to do with the firmwares. With this camera, and actually the E-M1 X got also a firmware update 1.1. It's not very remarkable, but there is one interesting thing that I will talk about later. But the one that this one got, the E-M1 MKII 3.0, that is something really interesting features in it. But let's start with the Teleconverter MC20, which is a teleconverter that doubles the focal length of your lens. And I will tell you which lenses are compatible with this one. But this actually was released, or they said that this is going to be made in January. The same place where they announced the E-M1 X, or when the press conference was, then this was on display over there also. But now it's actually here and you can pre-order it and you will get it in July. And there will be an affiliate link to Amazon if you want to get this. And remember that those affiliate links are links that doesn't raise your price. It's the same price for everybody, but I get a small commission, and that would be much appreciated. If you use those links and buy something, that will support my channel to make this free content for you. And this is not mine, it's from Olympus Finland, and I had a chance to test it for a few days. Unfortunately, I've been in a very bad flu for a couple of days, and making this video, I'm still a bit runny nose and a bit of coughing, so I haven't had that much time to test it. But there is some interesting things in Helsinki opened today. The amusement park had a new roller coaster, which is supposed to be really, well, let's say that's something that I won't be riding, but it was a great place to make some images. And I'm going after I've talked about this, I will go over there and show you some images of that roller coaster and see how this works with the 40 to 150 mm Pro Zoom lens. But let's talk about the specs of this lens next. And the compatible lenses with the MC20 are exactly the same as with the MC14 it is. And those lenses are 40 to 150 mm f2.8 zoom lens, the Pro version. And then you have the 300 mm f4 lens, and then the announced and probably will be available next summer 2020, 150 to 400 mm f4.5 lens. Those 3 lenses are compatible with this, and this will double the focal length of those lenses. And you will lose 2 stops of light when using this. 150 to 400 mm zoom lens that will be available 2020, sometimes during the summer. It becomes a 2000 mm lens if you use the MC20 and the built-in 1.25 extender that the 150 and 400 mm zoom, a new Pro Zoom lens will have. So 2000 millimeters is quite a lot. And remember, the very effective image stabilizer that's inside Olympus camera, you can use that handheld. Ain't that something? 200 mm lens and handheld shots. And I sure hope that I will have a possibility to test that combo. So this is a very efficient way of making your lenses have double the focal length and narrowing the angle of view quite a bit. And of course the MC20 has exactly the same weather sealing and freeze proof and splash proof as all the other Olympus Pro grade lenses and the Pro grade bodies. So it's no problem using this in very harsh conditions. And the other specs are, let me check it from my notes. It weighs 150 grams, length is 25.9 and the diameter is 59.8 millimeters, and the price will be around 430 in euros and in dollars about. So it's not a very cheap lens or teleconverter, but considering that you can double the focal length of your compatible lenses, it's not a bad deal in my opinion. As I said earlier, I went to test this MC20 with my 40 to 150mm f2.8 zoom lens, and I went to a place called Linnanmäki, which is a amusement park in Helsinki, downtown Helsinki, and it's one of the most visited attractions in whole Finland. It has 7,000 visitors every day and over 1 million people during the whole summer when it's open. It usually opens in I think it's in early May and then closes in summertime in September, and then it has some you know, special openings during the winter, some special light carnivals and stuff like that. And the great thing about Linnanmäki is that it's owned by a trust, and the trust will donate all the profits to welfare for children. So it's a big donor of money here in Finland, and that's why it's really great thing that a lot of people visit there. So if you ever come to Helsinki, just go in. It's free to get in, but then of course if you want to go to the rides, then you have to pay. And the reason that I went there was that I already mentioned that they opened a new roller coaster there today actually, and it looks to be really something that I'm not going to ride, but I think it's a very great thing to photograph because it's okay, it's brand new, it's the first day, so there is some point in the photographs, and then of course to use the Teleconverter and the Firmware 3.0, which has some improvements in the AF for the E-M1 MKII. So let's go to Linnanmäki and see what kind of images I was able to make with the MC20 and E-M1 MKII and the new Firmware 3.0. Hope you enjoy the images. Well, the images wasn't really quite what I was expecting. The funny thing was that the new roller coaster was in a place that it was impossible to get a shot where the train is coming exactly towards you. It was built in a place where you just couldn't get, so. But instead I took a few photographs of the seagulls, and the B-roll was shot with E-M1 MKII and OM log. Yes, I don't know if you noticed, but it said OM log. But MKII doesn't have OM log, but yes, now it does. Firmware 3.0 introduced OM log also to E-M1 MKII, which is really great because now it's really easy to color grade images from E-M1X and E-M1 MKII together in the same film. The images of the seagulls were made with this combo, so I had the E-M1 MKII and 40 to 150mm lens with the MC20 extender, and I will share those images so that you can look at yourself how the details are in the feathers of the birds. So in that sense, my pictures worked very well, so you have a chance to check out the original image and what it looks like, and then you can see the quality of the MC20 teleconverter. I will put a link in the description of this video where you can find those images. And please do not use those images for anything else, but only checking out the quality of the MC20 teleconverter. It's quite warm day, and so that's why I came under this tree where the temperature is kind of like bearable. I'm not really used to very hot weather, and it's probably, if you see my channel videos from the winter, I'm not either very cold, like the really cold weather either that much. But the reason that I have this hoodie on is that, as I said in the beginning, I had a bit of a flu here a couple of last days, and I wanted to keep myself warm even though it's very hot. And then the second reason is I realized that I have a Manchester United shirt under here, and I know that people get very emotional about cameras, but they also get very emotional about soccer and football, so it's better that I just have this neutral hoodie on. But let's get into the Firmware 3.0 and what's in it. The first improvement is in focus stacking. Now you can choose from 3 to 15 images that can be stacked, so you're not stuck with the 8 images, I think it was. So now you can choose exactly like the E-M1X has. And then you have the cropping lines, because when you do image stacking, the camera will crop the image slightly, so now you can see it in your LCD and EVF if the image, how much the image is cropped when you're using focus stacking. That wasn't there before. And then there is new low ISO, ISO 100. It used to be only ISO 64. And I made a whole video about low ISO, so you might want to check that video. Actually, I think it's on that side. Which side is it? It's on that side. There are some remarks also why you might want to use it sometimes. There are some advantages on low ISO, and it's very good that now the low ISO 100 is also on E-M1 Mark II. There's also a new low ISO detail processing, and using that the details are a bit better, but you might lose a bit of the contrast or the dynamic range rather. And the biggest and the best improvement in the new firmware 3.0 for E-M1 Mark II is the AF algorithm. It's exactly the same algorithm that E-M1X has. And that's big because now the AF in E-M1 Mark II should be as good as on the E-M1X. But the E-M1 Mark II does not have the AI that E-M1X has. So in Mark II there aren't any character recognition things in the menu. But otherwise it's very close to the AF of the E-M1X. And here you can see what the differences are in the menu system. This is the old one and this is the new firmware. And you can see there are some new things. There is a new 25-point group. CAF plus MF is a very handy new feature. You can go straight from AF to MF by turning the focusing ring. You have CAF center priority and you have CAF center start. And in video there are also improvements. I already mentioned the OM log 400. And then there is face detection info that improves the AF in video mode, which has been a bit of a problem with E-M1 Mark II. Now it's supposed to be a lot better. And the low light limit for AF is -6 EV. It's a huge improvement from -2 that it used to be. And then there is a very interesting new feature that I don't think any other camera brand has. You can use the camera's processor to edit your images in your computer. You hook up the computer with the USB cable that came with the camera, and then you open the new version of Olympus Workspace and start editing the images. The interface will be a bit different. I have not tested it yet because when I was making this video I wasn't able to get the new version of Olympus Workspace yet. But when you're watching this video, the firmware is already released, and there will be a link in the description in this video where you can get that. And I will make a video about that feature as soon as I will get the software. This works both in E-M1 Mark II and E-M1X. I think that's a very good feature because now you're able to use a low-end computer and use the power of the E-M1 cameras to edit your images. And I think that's big. That might be a very good for people that are making images while on the gig and send the images really fast, because of course you could do that in camera, but with a laptop with a proper screen it's a lot easier to make those edits. But as I said, I will come back to this when I have a chance to test it. And here is a list of all the other features that are included in the new firmware for E-M1 Mark II, the firmware 3.0. Was there something missing? What would you want to have in the next firmware 4.0 for the E-M1 Mark II? There's one thing that I would have liked to have on this one. That's the My Menu, because that's a really handy feature on E-M1 Mark X. I'm totally tired because I've been in bed for 2 days and now I just came out to make this video. But E-M1X has the My Menu, and I think that should have been included. And the firmware is available right now. You can download it, and I will put a link in the description of this video where you can get both of these firmwares. And please, when you have done it, tell me what do you think about this, and after you've tested them. And then you might want to watch this video next, because that video tells you how to upgrade your firmware in Olympus cameras. And this video is about Olympus Workspace and how it works. But hey, thanks for watching and bye for now.